Hello, folks. Welcome to the Genuinely Interested podcast. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Roy Bensby, and I'm the host of the show. This week we have Adam Gabay, who is the star or one of the stars of the hit HBO series Our Boys. I watched the show, I think it was late last year, and he just had a breakthrough performance in that show. It was just undeniable. It was so good that there was a scene or two. I mean, there was one specific scene where you just kind of left holding your breath for a few seconds. You're like, "What the hell just happened here?" So it was one of those scenes where it really catches you kind of out of breath for a second and appreciating the authenticity and sincerity and just raw emotion that he was able to bring to that scene and overall to the actual show. So to the part in the show. I wanted to have him on for a while and reached out to him and he was happy to come on the show. We talked about many different things. Talked about the band's visit. We talked about, which is originally a movie that his dad starred in, and it became a Broadway musical, and which he stars in now. So kind of full circle. His dad is a pretty famous actor in Israel. So we talked a little bit about what it's like growing up in the shadow of someone like that, their amazing relationship, and Adam's just unrelenting love for theater, art, movies. He's got a very creative side. Yeah, it's fun when people are passionate about something and unashamedly so, which should be everyone. But not everyone is so lucky as to find what their passion is. But when you do, and when you are exhibit that passion about your hobbies or work or lifestyle or whatever it is that you're really into, it's fun to be a part of that. I feel like there's a little bit of people want to be around people who have some sort of energy about them, and I feel like that's a little part of that. As far as the podcast, it's fun to see the growth. Every week I see new people from all over the world subscribing, listening. So thank you guys. I'm happy to see that it's growing and people like it. And like I said, there's my emails in the show notes. So if you guys have things you want to write to me about, ask, or just people you want to potentially hear talk, feel free to shoot me an email. It's in the show notes. I'm happy to keep putting out 2 episodes every week. I have a bunch of people that I'm interviewing this week, next week as well. So we're good with the amount of people we have. So I'm happy to keep interviewing these people. Every episode's a little bit different, different chemistry, different personalities, and they're all very interesting in their own ways. So, I'm happy doing this. So without further ado, here is the episode for this week with Adam Gabay. Hey, Adam.
Hey, how are you?
Good, good. Thanks for coming on the show. How you doing?
Great, great. Thank you. How are
Uh,
you?
I'm
Love
I'm
crazy.
good, man. I'm good. I'm like I told you in the conversation we had last week. I'm in Connecticut now. I'm actually kind of liking it because it's open space. It's kind of like you feel like fresh air, and you
Yeah,
can go on hikes here. Like the police do limit how many people can go in like the parks and stuff, but if you
yeah,
come early enough and before all the people come, you can kind of get like a nice hike in the morning. And it's just nice to be out of New York for a little bit.
yeah. I really do have the desire for, doing a road trip or something to like, to be connected to the nature again. Like I miss it so much.
You should do it.
Yeah, yeah. I think about it. I think about yeah, for real. I think about driving to California.
Wow.
I'm here in
You're in
Chicago.
Chicago, right?
Yes, I think to maybe to drive like 21 or 2 hours driving. It's a
Wow.
little bit tough, but I think maybe I will do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it's funny because when we're both from Israel, it's a tiny
Yeah.
country, and when people get here, it's like, oh, it's a 4 hour drive. It's not long, but back home,
Yeah.
4 hours is like, it's almost the whole country.
Yeah, from Tel Aviv to Eilat, it's like 4 hours, and you're like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness. But yeah, here it's like, oh, 7 hour driving. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a
Yeah,
friend that drives from New York to Atlanta, because his wife is originally from there, so they go there a lot. It's like a 11 or 12 hour drive, and he does it all the time.
oh, nothing.
So yeah, it's only 12 hours.
Yeah, Israel is in it's the size of the same size of what was it? New
Jersey.
Jersey. Yeah, New Jersey.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's tiny.
Yeah.
But it has a lot of but in those like tiny in that little tiny island.
Yeah. Tiny.
I call it an island.
Yeah.
It is because there's a lot in there. Like you have the desert, you have the lowest place on earth, you have snow, like a snow mountain where you can go skiing for a short period of time. You have forests, you have the sea.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different things happening. You have like great like cosmopolitan big cities with like parties and beaches and
the people.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, tell people a little bit about yourself. I'm sure people would love to hear kind of who you are, what you do, background a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm Adam Gabay, or they said like the Adam Gabay is the one. I'm in America, but Adam Gabay. This is my name. Yeah, I was born in Tel Aviv, Israel. Born and raised. Went to school and high school of art there. And then I served the army. And yeah, and then like I finished my army service a year ago. And
Oh wow.
Yeah, March 2019. And May.
So you're really young.
Yeah, I'm 22. I just had my 22nd birthday last week.
Mazel tov.
Thank you.
Really? When? What day?
April 24th.
Okay, I'm 29.
So both of us story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Thank you. You too.
So
how did you have your birthday in this Corona time?
Yeah. No, a lot of parties. Yeah, I just I don't like to make a big deal for my birthday, so
yeah,
it was kind of perfect for me. Yeah, it was good. It was
nice.
calm. So yeah, and I served the army. I was in the IDF spokesperson, and also I was in like kind of like a special program that that you can combine your army service in your career. And so I participated in projects during my army service. One of them was the HBO series, the Catchphrase HBO series of Boys. And yeah, and then I finished the student for our boys January last year, 2019. Finished the army service in March, and then in May I moved to New York to rehearse for the American National Tour of the band's Visit, the Broadway musical. And yeah, and then I mostly we were performing 8 shows a week.
Wow.
Till what was it? 2 months ago, this craziness started. And yeah, so yeah. I don't know how.
So wait, you were doing the HBO show while you were in the army?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah, it was special. It was very grounded experience to being like in such a big set, and and then like the day after go to the army, and you're like just like a regular soldier, and it was
Yeah.
very grounded. It was very important, like because there's something you know crazy that you're like instead you're the actor, all this uh,
No, definitely.
our gloriness and about glam, about this glam about actors and TV and that, and then you're going then you're going back to the army the day after.
Yeah. It's like a juxtaposition. It's like the complete opposite of what that is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
So
yeah, we'll definitely touch on that a little bit later. I want to talk about the show because that's how I think I definitely found you, and I think probably a lot of other people. I mean, I've seen a couple other things, but I think that was definitely the main one.
mm,
Um, so I mean, you said right now you're in Chicago. What is I know what the atmosphere is like in New York, but
yeah.
what's the rest of the country? How's Chicago right now?
So Chicago is like it's kind of like I think I'm making up it better than New York. Uh, because it's like just crowded and
Yeah,
tourists and yeah, it's kind of okay. Like the weather the past few days started to be incredible. This spring Chicago weather, which is amazing apparently. And so yeah, so yesterday I had a walk like for like hours, I think 5, 6 hours. And there were people
oh wow,
on the streets,
yeah.
and I think everybody's so thirsty for human communication. So every random person that you see in the street, they're like, "Hey," it's like your best friend.
Yeah. It's
So
true, man. We're not built to be isolated for so long. I think people want to connect with other people.
yeah, I wasn't kind of like some like couple of days that I was like a little bit in like kind of like strange and crazy loop of like just something like this of like this grumpy mood, and then I was like I I okay, I miss walking. I miss to
Yeah,
work. I miss it, and I miss walking, and I miss friends, and I miss like I talked to a friend of mine, and we said like, yeah, we just miss to sit in restaurants and just eat next to other people that we don't know. But it's just like there's
yeah,
something so special, just like that it's so it's like so casual, but now it's so magical and special. To sit in the same restaurant with people that you don't know. And I don't know. It's just like now
no,
everything,
definitely.
yeah, everything looks so special, and I think it's like it's a very important and unique lesson that we're having as as, the whole world is experiencing now this lesson about about um, gratefulness and thankfulness for what we're having. And we think that it's like so so obvious, so things that are like on a daily basis. Go to restaurants, theaters, shows, bars. Not so doesn't happen.
It's things we took for granted earlier, and
Yeah,
now
yeah, yeah.
it's when we don't have it. I mean, I don't know when all of this is coming back, but I think we're definitely going to appreciate it once it does eventually. I don't know if it's going to come back in the same form, or in a different form?
Yeah,
Maybe
I'm
because
curious.
I don't think we're going to be able to be, I don't know if we're going to be able to be a huge amount of 500 or 5,000
Yeah,
or 50,000 people in a venue.
yeah,
So anytime soon. So it's going to be interesting to see. But I think we do crave that, like you say, and hopefully
yeah.
once that opens up, we're definitely going to enjoy it so much more.
Inshallah. Yeah, yeah.
So your dad is Sasan Gabay, who's a very famous actor
Mm-hmm.
in Israel. He's been in the movies for, I don't know, 4 decades now or something.
Uh,
A long time.
five, five. Yeah.
5 decades?
Yeah, 5 decades. Yeah, he's
Wow.
working
Yeah.
in theater and cinema and TV in Israel and all over the world. He's the so I don't know so I don't know if it was clear, but the tour of the Broadway show that they did, the band visit, based on the
Hmm.
band visit, the film that uh, 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 when
That
was
he
it?
starred in.
Yeah, no, but I think about, yeah, 2007. He starred in
Yeah.
he and the Ronito Cabet, R.I.P. They starred, both of them, in 2007. It was a worldwide success. It was I think it's like a masterpiece. I think some like art creations, like, they're just perfect because
Hmm.
they are perfect. I don't know how to explain it. Like, for example, the most of it, like a Mona Lisa. A Mona Lisa is
Yeah.
just a perfect piece of art. There is this jazz album of Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers called Free for All. It's a perfect piece of art. I don't know if you know. It's just like and I think the band's visit, the film that I'm talking about, the film right now, is just
Yeah.
a perfect, ah, it's a perfect piece of art. It's just really, it's like so, it's everything that I love in cinema. I just like, I saw this film like 100 times, like, real, and I never had enough with that. Like, it just, wow. Yeah, it really moved
So
me.
you're your dad's biggest fan, I see.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, yeah, absolutely. And he's mine.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
mean, it must have
so,
been pretty. Oh, go ahead.
go on. Go ahead, go ahead.
Now I was gonna say it must have been pretty amazing since you guys have such a good relationship growing up with someone who is, you know,
Yeah.
pretty famous or very famous in Israel. And how was that experiencing growing up in movies, probably going on set with him, stuff like
Yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah. So I was this cliche of, like, the kids and the actors, like, they're like, running backstage, or on set, and yeah, I really had the desire to be there, and also it was my father's job, always
Yeah.
fun, but yeah, it was something very special, that to grow up surrounded by, all my parents' friends. They're amazing artists, and it was, that, uh, like, I think about this part of my childhood, of, like, be surrounded by so incredible and talented people, as my chosen family, like my aunts and
Hmm.
my uncles, that they are, of course, my real aunts and uncles, but that
Yeah.
I love them so much. But also, like, my chosen aunts and uncles, that they are, uh, you know, amazing, amazing uh, actors, musicians, directors. It's just so, and to see the communication between my parents and then in this artist community, it was something that I was really drawn to from very young, uh, from very young age. So yes, so I was really I don't know if adore is the word, but I like my father's work in most of his pieces was incredible in my idea, and I think I always thought that he's an incredible actor. And this movie in particular, when he won the Israeli Academy Award, the Ophir Award for this role, he was in a show, in a play that he did, or based on Rainman, the movie. So I took the award, the Ophir Award. I took
Oh,
the
really?
award. We have his name, yeah, for the band's
Oh,
visit,
okay.
for
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
role. And when I was 9, and
Oh, wow.
yeah,
You
cut
were probably the
to
size of the award at that time.
yeah. It was a very unique experience. Cut to, you know, yeah, what was it? 10 years, 11 years later, 10 years later, he per- he is performing this role on Broadway, and I'm going to see him on Broadway, you know, and I'm like, I couldn't, I couldn't believe, like, I still, when I saw him on the first time on Broadway, just like I cried the whole time.
Really?
And then
Wow.
cut to year or yeah, year later, I'm with him on the stage
That's amazing.
together, touring the US with the same piece, with this piece, and yeah, it's crazy kind of full, full circle that happened, kind of a whole, like, this piece, the band's visit. It's something that I think is very, like, ingrained in my family history, and
Yeah.
my relationship uh, with my father in particular. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I think you see this a lot where the father is good at something, right? If it's football or music or acting or basketball, martial arts, doesn't matter. And a lot of times you'll see the kid of that father become exceptional, right? You'll see them become exceptional actors or become exceptional basketball players. And I always wondered, is there some genetics that you think go into that maybe? Like because the fathers are so ingrained with what they do, they pass it on to the kid, or it's a nature nurture thing, or because they grew up with it all the time and they wanted to, be like their father, so they practiced more or they became better, or maybe it's a
Yeah.
combination of the two. I don't know.
I think, yeah. So I think on one hand, yeah, as I think, as I got the nose of my father, so I got also the desire and passion for, acting and stage
Yeah.
and camera, and so I feel that it goes together. But also, as I said before, the fact that I was growing up in art in general was like, I was surrounded by art in general all the time. And since first grade, I was in school of art, and was something very, I think, very dominant, uh,
Yeah.
since very, very, very little age. So, and yeah, I think it's the mix of the two of them, absolutely. Um, but yeah, like, uh, my father. From my father, we are 5 siblings, and
Hmm.
and and like, all of them, like, they have the passion and the desire, uh, for to art, but I'm the only one who's like doing it practically, which is like
Yeah.
means I think it's interesting because I'm like yeah, it's interesting because
You're the only one that pursued it out of all the
yeah,
brothers and sisters.
yeah. But just it's interesting subject because it's like also it's like it's talking about DNA and also about the environment that you grew up as a
Yeah.
kid.
I think it has to be a combination of the two. I think it has to be.
Yeah, and also what is like your decision as a grown up, person. In the end of the
Yeah.
day, like you can say like, yeah, I grew up next to it, and I love to go to the theater. I love to watch good cinema, but I would rather do for living equal that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about Our Boys.
hmm hmm
I thought it was an amazing fucking show. We watched it on HBO, and were you scared of tackling such an issue and taking on such a role? I mean, it was very political. Did you have any second thoughts
About what?
about taking such a role because of the political
Um,
nature of it?
eh, no, no, I got this role when I was like 19. So
Yeah.
I was like, I was like, I still like, I'm still, I can't believe I got tears when I think about it. And I starting to stutter again as the role I say. And I, I still, I still can't believe that I got it. So I don't think like I remember when I got the side for the audition uh, from my agent, RIP
Hmm.
Catchphrase, and I got the side and I look, the description of the character, OCD and clinic depression and stuttering and yeshiva boy who's not really like, like getting along in the yeshiva and da 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 da. And it's like production, like, it's like a collaboration of Keshet International and HBO and Joseph Cedar and Haggai Levy and Tawfiq and Abuel. And I was like, okay, there is no there's no trust. Like it's not. There's no trust. And I think because like and I came into the room without any expectation at all. Like I had
Yeah.
no expectation that I'm going. Like I was like, okay, let's do it for the fun because it's like amazing tech, amazing thing.
Hmm.
So yeah, sure, let's. But and I think once you put the expectation in the side, you're focusing in the, we say the dugri, in the
Yeah.
actual thing,
Yeah.
in the thing.
You're more in the moment.
Yeah. And yeah, and I remember, yeah, so I didn't really, didn't really have the privilege of, yeah, it's funny, what do I think about it? Maybe it's too edgy, maybe it's too politics, maybe it's
Yeah.
like talking about, no, I was like, this is a, like, it's an amazing, it's like, no, from the beginning, it's incredibly important story, and I think it should be told, and everybody should know this story. I think
Hmm.
even like myself as an Israeli kid, um, by the time when it happened, I didn't really know enough about this horrible incident, and I think everybody should know, everybody should know about it, and in especially in Israel. But the fact that they brought this story to the U.S. and and all over the world. But like on HBO, people in the United States and all over the world you know, can hear and see, 8 different languages, different locations, different names, different stories, and to see this, to understand that, yeah, there is a complicated and there is a complicated relationship between two nations uh, who live in the same place. And how we would say, long story short, and it's a whole thing. It's a whole
Yeah.
thing. And so, yeah, I like, and what I am, I'm all about telling important stories and participating in important stories that I think that's what I am looking for as an actor. They couldn't imagine that in kind of like young age I would have the honor and the pleasure, the opportunity to participate in such an important and complex, because the complex is like there is it's, it's very it's very, I don't know if to say problematic, but I never thought that I would say, yeah, this person murdered, but and then I found myself saying that, and I found myself because also, yeah, it's very problematic, and
You know, when I see your character playing, I and again, it's not this isn't a documentary. This is just a movie based
yeah,
on
yeah,
facts and a story, and I'm sure there's some dramatization and etc. But
not a lot,
when I see
not a lot.
yeah, but just some for emotional effect.
Sure, sure, sure.
But when I saw your character, I was just like, this. I know. It's a small country, and people like that, right?
Yeah,
Someone from school or a neighbor or a
yeah,
family, and it's just, yeah, and I was like, I couldn't believe that that person could do that. You know what I mean? And when
yeah,
and your character conveyed that so well, I was like, this kid, he's just a kid that got mixed up in something he didn't want to be a part of, and he was just easily
yeah.
manipulated.
But also, he participated in murder, and this is unforgivable. You can. I don't think it's like I think it's yeah. I think there is. I think he did something horrible. I think it's
Yeah, of course.
awful, and yeah, yeah, and it's very yeah, and like every
What would
every time when I think about it, I'm like, yeah, like he murdered, but then like, but he murdered, and then like, but yeah, but look at this kid, and then like, ah. So yeah, yeah, it's
but he didn't
horrible.
he wasn't physically part, right? If I'm remembering correct.
If we will start talking about it, it will never, we will never end. We will
Yeah,
never.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like it will never
So
end. It's like it's it's I I don't know what to
yeah,
say.
we'll move forward. We'll move forward. What were the responses that you got after the after Our Boys came out?
So yeah, I wasn't in
Because
Israel.
I think that especially that scene, that famous scene where you're in the courtroom.
Mm.
I mean, I was, both me and my wife, we were like almost in tears. We were like quiet for like a good few minutes. It was just such a strong scene, and I was like,
Well,
dude, this kid is so good, So I'm sure most people thought the same. There's just no other way to see it.
thank you so much. Um. So again, I wasn't in Israel. Uh, by the time it aired, and so I think there's some again something grounded in that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in America and also I look different, and so people didn't stop me in the street. So
Yeah.
I feel that was good. Actually, one one time, one woman in the subway in New York, she recognized me, and that was super exciting to be in the subway in New York.
Yeah.
But yeah, so most, like 98% from the message that I got, like, I don't know, DM on Instagram or Facebook, or friends, or like friends of friends, or people from the industry, or when I was in Israel, and when it was like this kind of like Christmas slash Hanukkah vacation. So the people
Mm-hmm.
that I got, the people that I met in the street, that they approached and talked to me, it was 95, 98% of the cases was like just, oh my God, we really appreciate your job. And I think it's like, thank you for telling this story, and etc. etc. And, I got a little bit, like, I didn't, you know, and I think also there's something to do with the fact that my character is like, he's very gentle and
Yeah.
father, and I think it's something to do that is like not mean murder or like whatever. So this kind of, think people kind of like have like compassion to him. And 2% was like people who wrote me things like,
There's always going to
I
be
don't I don't
2%.
really
Don't
I
worry
don't
about those people.
yeah I
Don't worry
don't
about
really
those people. Yeah. Focus on the positive.
yeah
If you have 98%, that's a huge success. Most people, if you go and you put a YouTube video, and it's a positive video, whatever it is that you put out there on social media, you're going to get 20, 30, 40, 50%, who knows? You're going to get a amount of people that are just going to have shit to say. I was
yeah
talking
mhm,
to Jeff Chan, who's a one championship fighter, and a great guy. He has like YouTube videos, and he puts out tutorials and breakdowns, all this stuff for like martial arts, MMA, like all positive, right? But he says like every video I put, there's always going to be X amount of people that just have shit to say. They're just going
yeah
to say something negative. So I think it's people that
sure,
just
yeah
aren't happy with themselves, and they want to say something bad about other people because then they feel good about themselves. So 2% is fine.
yeah no, yeah, absolutely. And I also think that there is a difference between, when when they when they publish when they announce that I'm going to join the tour of the band's visit and to play with my
Hmm.
father, to work with my father. So, let's say 30% from the, comments was like, okay, okay, connections, and like we say protections, and like, and because his son, and da 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 da, and then like, I've been working on this, all this son of, and,
Hmm.
and since a very, very young age. Um,
Is that
so
something
there
that
is,
still bothers you, or
yeah, 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 part of me, yeah, part of me, sure, yeah,
yeah?
part of me, sure, but also I'm working on it, and I'm I want to be in this place that it's not going to bother me at all. But anyway, what I'm saying is like, there is this, you know, this kind of like, you know, and we call them the 20%, and there is the
Hmm.
20% who actually said, to literally kill and cut the heads of Joseph Sider, Hagai Levy, and Tawfiq Abu Her because they created this, what do you say, anti-Semitic show and whatever. So, there is this, and there is this. So I think when it's dangerous, when it's like, okay, so those people, they think that I got this role because of my father. Okay, have a nice day. But they want to actually to hurt them, to get they say out loud on social media, kill those people if you see them. That is kind of like a red line.
Yeah, that's the power of anonymity. That's when you can sit at home on your keyboard and type in whatever you want with no consequences. So some people, they take that beyond the limits of what is acceptable, I think. But I don't think there are any laws preventing that.
And it's the blessed and the curse of this time.
It is 100%. So I mean, if in reference to the scene that we talked about earlier, where again, if people haven't watched, go watch Our Boys. It's on HBO, and there's a specific scene in the courtroom where your lawyer is trying to get you all emotional and get something out of you. And I heard an interview recently with Leo Raz from Fauda, where he speaks about a scene, and I don't know if anybody watched the last. I'm sure it's a very popular show, so I'm sure a lot of people watched it. But in the last season, there's a scene where he sits with, I don't want to give too many spoilers, but he sits on the grave of someone, and he just, he starts crying. And he said that he was so emotionally invested in that scene that even after the scene ended, he wasn't able. He was like crying for the rest of the day. He wasn't able to switch it off. Is that something like you can relate to with relation to that scene?
So that scene, we shot that scene in the end, in the end of the shooting. That was the last shooting day. We finished that scene, and then like the Gzar Din. How is it Gzar Din?
The final, I guess you could say judgment.
The judgment. I looked for better words, but
I think there's another word to use, but it's not coming to me right now. But the judgment,
decision,
the final verdict.
Absolutely.
The verdict.
So we finished my testimony, and then this thing, and that was like the last training day, and that was very emotional anyway. I was very emotional anyway, and like in the end of this day, I flew to see my father and my mother. After I didn't see them when they were in New York, after I didn't see them for like 6 months or something like that. So it was like a very emotional day anyway. But then, cause that was, it was the end of this powerful project that I was working on. It was part of my life for like 2 years, a year.
Wow.
2 years, yeah. And since the first audition till the last shooting day, the re-shooting was like, was 2 years. And okay, so we started and we did it, and it was hard and it was tough. And when we finished shooting this scene, that this also I don't want to give too many spoilers, but there is a connection, a very special and sensitive connection between Avishai, the kid, and myself, and the parents of Muhammad, Sua and Hussein, and the parents of Muhammad, the boy who was murdered. And after this special moment was very intense. As I said, Ruba, the woman who played Sua, Muhammad's mother, and Tawfiq,
Yeah.
one of the directors, and myself just looked at each other, and then we just hugged, the three of us, with don't know don't know if sobbing is the word, but it was like just like
Very emotional.
I think in that moment we kind of like after the whole series, after like a year, we finally understood how like our responsibility
Yeah.
for telling this story. And I think we understand, at least I understood better the the pain in the pain in this reality. Yeah.
Hmm. So
Ah.
yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, you definitely feel it, you know. So I think recently, well, I don't know if recently, but at least maybe last 5 to 10 years, I would say, there's been just unbelievable Israeli movies and shows coming
Mhm.
out, you know, Fauda, Our Boys,
Yeah.
Spy, et cetera, et cetera. And the problem because I've been here in the States for the last 7 or 8 years,
Oh.
and there's a very different angle to watching it from here than to watching it back home. And I'm always, and don't get me wrong, these shows are amazing, but I'm always like, why are all the shows slash movies coming from Israel? They always have the Israeli Palestinian issue, and they're always very political. And I'm like, why can't they just also bring? Because again, like there's so much quality content out there, and if you're from abroad, you know, if you live overseas, you think Israel is just that, right? Because that's all you see. But I'm like, why don't they bring some like comedies, like drama,
So
some love stories?
you do have Sister on Netflix, which is
Yes, true.
comedy, and it's about a very orthodox Ashkenazi family
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Jerusalem,
yeah. I watched a
but
bit of it.
yeah, but it's not. But it's comedy show. It's like it's
Kinda,
like
yeah,
it's like dark comedy. It's like
yeah, yeah.
like dark comedy, but
No, I'm not saying there aren't. I'm saying the majority of the stuff that's coming here
because
is
yeah,
political in nature. And I think
yeah,
I understand why, but I would just love to see more, you know, other genres as well come in and
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
show another side.
yeah. So yeah. I see, and also I have to say that you have incredible creators and directors from Israel in the States as
Yeah,
Guy
definitely.
Nativ, who made him, which is not about the Israeli, Palestinian conflict story. It's an American story, but it's also
Yeah.
Israeli story. It's like global story, but it's like about no and you have Almar El that she made Honey Boy. This is like completely different uh, other world. Highly recommended both of those movies. And
Honey Boy. Oh, check it out.
Honey
I haven't
Boy,
heard of it.
amazing piece. And
Okay.
Skin as well, the short and the full version. It's like and they so I completely I understand and I see uh, that it's a lot is about like the conflict, war, and etc. But and Joseph Sider he made Norman with Richard Gere and Leo Ashkenazi. That it's not about it's
Yeah, I think I saw that
half it
one.
like it's talking about like, I think Judaism or this environment but no, it's not about Palestinians, Israel. It's not Kid, not Hannibal,
Yeah.
Norman, and another Joseph Titor's amazing movie Footnote was nominated to the Oscars. Not, not about the conflict of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict at all. So I, I, it's like, yeah, it's like a yes and situation. I see,
Yeah.
and also there is a lot of, I think in general, maybe we should give like, 1 or 2 minutes shout out for all those amazing Israeli creators who are bringing in drones, bringing story after story, bringing amazing stories to the United States on HBO, on Netflix, in the cinema theaters, on Broadway. I think it's like, the fact that the band's visit won 10 Tonys, 10 Tonys awards,
Yeah.
and Guy Nativ won the Oscars. And it's not about the awards, Gal Gadot and all these amazing
Yeah,
things
it's the
that he
accolades.
did.
It's the
It's like,
accolades.
yeah, it's like, and Chagai Levy that he made, the American
Yeah,
version
didn't
of
he, that
Betty
Showtime show,
Bull.
right?
Yeah, no, so he did he made the
Um,
Affair, the Showtime show,
the
and
fair, yeah.
also he made the American version of Betty Pool in Treatment that
Yeah.
on HBO. That so it's like it's incredible and it's inspiring and it's like it means that me as a little Israeli kid with the you know chubby kid with a little bit big nose, and I was like, it's like that's not possible. Like there's something like this is America and this is Israel and there's you can't like, but yes, yes, it is possible.
I think it's possible now. I don't think it was possible
Now,
a few years back. Like if like there was
yeah,
this joke always back home where uh whenever Israeli actors would go to the US and they would try to make it big, they would always cast them as terrorists.
terrorist, yeah,
But now, yeah, but
yeah,
now you have, Gal Gadot, Inbar Levi, Lior, Elet Zoe, and all these other famous actors, some
yeah,
of also directors like you mentioned. And I think that switch has only happened maybe partly because of probably streaming services that are available now and the different type of content that you can
sure,
get. Before you would have
sure,
very you would have studios, they would control everything and they would only put out particular things, and
yeah,
now with streaming services, the internet, it's broadened the options that are available for people. Like we watch, so and this is something I didn't used to watch, but now because of the options that are available, like Netflix, Showtime,
yeah,
what do you call it, Amazon, etc. We'll watch like
yeah,
Spanish shows, Indian movies,
mm-hmm.
stuff from Turkey. We watched a Turkish movie like a couple of weeks ago, and obviously Israeli, and just everything, right? Where before you really, we wouldn't do that, and I don't think the options were available to watch those things.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, absolutely. And also, there's something very interesting about all this Netflix revolution. Because if you had, I don't know, before that you had the, channel, you had NBC, CBS, ABC, Fox, eh, et cetera, et cetera. Now it's not Netflix anymore because it's like not also it's not only Netflix. It's actually now it's like because my Netflix not your Netflix. The thing that I see
Yeah,
on my Netflix is not the thing. So there is Adam Gabay's channel, and there is Roy Bentley's channel, and there is Jason Gabay's channel, and there is like every uh, you know it's crazy. But this is like I think mix of like this the 2020 technology revolution and all those things and also people that are like, okay, I want, I want, I, I want my thing. I know what I like.
Yeah.
I know what I like. So if I'm watching Powder on Netflix and I'm watching season, so they will offer me בשביל הגיבורים עפים, when heroes fly, for example. So they're like, okay,
Yeah. I
I
watched that
love
one.
it.
I watched that
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. It's
But it's also interesting
fascinating.
that the way it's done now, I was listening to, I mean, a bunch of people, but recently Bill Burr was talking about the fact that he had his special on, or no, sorry, not, it wasn't about the special. He has a show, I forget the name of it, but it's like it's an animated show. But it's, it's vulgar and everything. It's very funny. But he was saying that if this was any other, channel, like the stuff that he was saying, that they would be like, hey, tone it down. Let's not, but they were saying, no, just go up, do it, do more of that. And he was like, I love the fact that they just didn't tell me what to do and I could do whatever I want and go as hard as I want. And again, that's part of the things that were not really available even 10 years ago.
Yeah, because there are people who want to watch it, and now they can without bother the people who don't want to watch it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. So do you have preference for either doing, because you've done both. You've done both theater and film. Is there one that you prefer?
I think both of them are super magical because there is this magical moment when you're like doing, one gesture with your eyebrow or like one face, and then 2,000, 3,000 people are laughing, and it's like it's crazy. You're doing one movement with your body, boom, people are like
Everyone laughs.
everyone like and like it's like magic. It's like I think it's I don't like it. I'm addicted.
Is it addictive?
Yeah. Both of them. Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is. But also the intimacy in camera, like that. It's so low, and it's so like it's like you can see everything. You can see the pimple. You can see you can see everything on the face, and what you can just in only in in your eyes you can think about something else, and from the camera the audience will know, they will see that there is process, there is something, there is movement inside of you, and only for this, only from your eyeball, that it's like I'm like, I get tears when I'm talking about both of them. Like, yeah, I have huge desire for both of them. I think that, naturally, because last time when I was on set, it was for our boys, like year went by, um, and then like for almost a year, it was 8 shows, 8 times a week I was performing on stage. So I was like, so I think it's like natural that now I'm like kind of like I miss you know set, camera, doing cinema, uh, but yeah, because I participated in this dance film of a very dear friend of mine, Or Schreiber, and his wife Bobby Jean. That both of them they are former Batsheva dancers, and they made this dance film. There is a very interesting documentary about Bobby and about
I saw that one, I think. Bobby Jean, right?
Bobby Jean, yeah.
Yeah, I saw it, I think, a few years back.
Yeah, it's incredible. They are amazing people.
Yeah.
And I'm not a dancer, but I participated in dance team for like 4 or 5 scenes, and I
Okay.
felt like after it was like I think right before this craziness happened, and so 2 months ago, and there was like after a year that I wasn't on set, it was like it was so good. It felt so good to be back on set, to be with the camera, to be with the director, to know that every little nuance that you're doing, it's a whole world. So
Yeah.
yeah. It's very. I don't have an
There's
answer
no
for you.
preference.
No, no.
Yeah. Does it get tiring though? Theater? I mean, because you said you do 8 shows a week
Yeah,
sometimes, like,
yeah,
and you're doing the same thing
yeah,
over and
yeah,
over and over and over. Like, is
yeah.
there a point where you're like, fuck, like, I'm tired of doing the same thing every night or twice a night or whatever?
Yeah, when you're doing 8 shows a week, so like in the beginning, because that was the first, also that was the first professional theater show I ever done.
Hmm.
I participated in like school and high school productions and some independent productions with friends, free stuff. Uh, when 100 people are coming and you're like, woo, like 80 people came, woo, and
Yeah.
now and now it's like thousands, and that was the first time that I experienced that. So in the beginning, I had a desire that every show will be incredible and perfect and amazing and stunning, and for myself, that I will say that that I will make sure that I wanted to make sure that every show that I will finish every show that I'm saying, okay, that was incredible. But then I
Yeah.
understood that when you're doing it for 8 times a week, that you just can't.
It becomes it
Yeah,
becomes ordinary. It becomes
you know,
structured and
and also some shows will be incredible. Some shows you will say that they were awful, but yeah, but as long as you are like present on stage, and you are like this hour and what 40 minutes of this show, you're like focusing. You're focusing on the show and the piece and telling the story, and yes, sometimes yeah, it's like you're like well, I can't believe it was so bad, and da 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 da, or like, I'm tired of it, but actually, like, no, like, yes and no and yes.
yeah. Do you think that that theater, because we talked about this earlier. Personally, I think that in the next few years you're not going to be able to put a large amount of people into any venue. Do
Yeah,
you think theater is going to get hurt because of this?
I actually I actually talked with my father about it yesterday, and he said something very interesting, that like, yeah, like there is something that in all this Netflix generation and social media generation, there's something that theater is now like, why can I, why, like, why should I go out, buy expensive ticket to the show that I can watch something on Netflix in my bed,
Hmm. Yeah.
or on the couch. Yeah, why? But also, and then my father said that people are going to miss after this, you know, uh, quarantine time. People are going to miss going out, being out, socializing, see a live performance, but you don't know what's going to happen because it's live, and it's like and there's something there's something very impressive that you see people, putting on a show, and they are doing it perfectly, or at least you think that they are, like, you think that it's
Yeah.
perfect. Because, if we're talking about the last, like the previous subject, like, so many times I could see show and to say, oh my God, to the actors, oh, it was incredible. And the actors are like, oh, we did so many mistakes. And like,
Yeah.
no, not
But
like,
you would
no, I
never
didn't,
know.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's something very impressive that you can sit for like what, 2 hours and like see people are like doing it like live, and there is like magical. And I think, yeah, and they
But what happens when people aren't allowed?
we
That's
will
like
we
the
will
question
find,
is,
yeah, we will find our way. I think we
yeah.
will find our way.
I hope
So
so.
yeah, maybe the theaters or the venues will be bigger with more room, or like with the other percussions. And I
Or
don't
like
know.
less people. They'll only allow X amount of people
Sure, sure,
into
yeah,
the venue. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see because I think music, theater, sports, all these places, like that people before would come in hundreds or in thousands. They have a real predicament because you know businesses are going to start opening up soon, right?
Yeah.
Obviously essential ones are running now, and then more are hopefully on the horizon, and they will open soon. But I think these ones that are not essential, but it's entertainment. It's part of our
Mm.
it's part of what people love to do. It's a hobby. It's a love. It's whatever it is that it is for you. People love to spend a lot of money on it, but I just don't see a situation where people are going to be allowed to congregate in large numbers for these things. I think like obviously streaming a lot of these things like pay-per-view and like sports and other things, like obviously movies are going to move more to the streaming services rather than theaters. But I don't know.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next year or so, and how, because I know a lot of companies also, was it AMC? I forget which one, but I think they went bankrupt. I'm not sure if it was AMC, but I remember one of the
Wow.
big ones had some financial issues, and
Mm.
yeah, so they no one's coming and no one's gonna come,
Yeah.
so they have a lot of financial setbacks that
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
still have to pay whatever they have to pay. So I don't know. We'll see what happens in the next
Yeah.
6 months or so, I guess.
Yeah.
So outside of acting, what else would you say you enjoy doing? Do you have any other hobbies, or is it just that?
So, my friends, they know that my hobby is to walk. I love walk. I love it so much. I love to walk. I love to, and then another hobby of me, like music. I putting on my headphones, and I'm just
So like walking in the city,
in the city, in the village, and
or
wherever.
like hiking in nature.
Some less hiking, just like walk, go for a walk
Well,
and
yeah,
explore.
yeah,
And yeah, but yeah, music is I don't know if to say hobby, like it's a love of mine. Like I just love music, and I had so like some very strong connections with people in the States, that they are from the States or from Canada or from France or from Palestine or from wherever, that when we like someone put the song, I started to to hum it. They're like, how do you know this song? And then it's a whole world. And then like
yeah.
you're talking about it, da, 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 da. So it's like, yeah, music, it's a magical thing. Um, Hobbies, yeah, like art in general. Like yeah, like art, visual
Creative
art.
stuff.
Yeah, visual
Yeah,
art,
they're very creative.
cinema, music, dance. That like but I politics. I love politics. Like it interested me. It's interesting to me. No, I'm interested by it. Sorry.
Yeah, in politics.
In politics, yes. As I told you, I was in the IDF spokesperson.
Yeah,
Before that, I was in
yeah.
Bamachane, which is the military newspaper. There was like an army reporter, military writer, whatever you can call it,
Mhm.
whatever you can call it. So yes, it's something that I like. Politics is really interesting me. Just in the humanity aspect of that, you know,
Yeah,
in like to see what's happening to to countries, to people, to like, and also in the end of the day, what I love the most in the world, like people. I love to see people. That's why I think I love acting so much because I love I love to see people, you know, different different way of walking and talking and so and I think politicians are really interesting. Most of the time, they're really interesting characters. You know,
yeah,
Trump to see Trump to watch Trump on the TV. It's he's putting on a show. Like
yeah.
it's like
Not a good one, but a
no,
show. Yeah,
okay, yeah, no, but to see Benjamin Netanyahu, our prime minister, the Israeli prime minister, is putting on a show, and let's put like I would prefer to put politics in the side and don't say
yeah.
out loud what I think or don't think about both of them, but they are performances, and they are performances. They're performances.
Unfortunately, yeah, they've become performances instead of being
Sure,
actual
no, but they feel that also.
ideologues.
Yeah, but if you also Obama is a performer, and he has like huge charisma, and like that I don't know that maybe
Yeah.
of
But
a
he's,
rock
you know,
star.
if you put them exactly, but if you put Obama and Trump in the movie, Obama is the protagonist, the
Ah,
charismatic person, and Trump is just the evil guy that doesn't get the girl and tries to like manipulate everyone in the movie and tries to like stifle the relationship and maybe kill someone in the movie. He's just
wow.
not an intellectual. He's almost the complete opposite. He's not someone
Yeah,
who really cares about people. He's not someone who is very intelligent. He's not someone who he's just very narcissistic and just seems to always
yeah,
care about his own ego, which is the
yeah,
worst thing in a pandemic, in a crisis. And I agree with you. It's all show. He still thinks he's in a reality TV show.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah,
I think good,
it's not
good.
ideal.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think that for example, so a good actor is an actor who's like going, walking on the set and doing it for like walking on the piece and doing it for the piece, not for her or himself.
Mm,
Like it's not
yeah,
like I'm making this TV show because I want like and what I think the intention is like I will be the most successful, famous that I didn't. No, I'm the intention in I am I'm doing the best that I can, that this piece of art will be the best that it can be. And
yeah,
it could be. And with politicians, the same. It's not like I'm the prime minister, I'm the president for myself because I want to show everybody how powerful I am and da 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 da. No, I am a prime minister, I am a president because I want to make this country the best that I can the best
Oh,
that
I wish
this
I wish
country
that
can,
was true.
can be.
I wish that was true.
Ah,
Yeah. That's I think in ideal land that would be amazing, but I don't see that happening with the majority of leaders in the world right now. But let's do a hard 180 and just kind of round off with a couple of other questions. I think
mhm,
you saw I think I saw you put a few like Insta stories about like a few good like movies and shows recently. Was
mhm.
there one specific show that you've watched during quarantine that stood out that you were like, wow, this is amazing?
Oh, wow. Yeah, actually, there are some. There are some. And let me think about it. There are some very good movies that I saw. And I want to pick the best. No, I want I want I want to pick the best one. And
You know what I saw like a month ago, which I blew me away.
what?
And I have said this I think on another podcast, but 1917,
Yeah, yeah. I saw it in the theater. Amazing,
unbelievable.
amazing, amazing. It's like I'm not a huge fan
Yeah,
of like war movies, but the cinematography is like like wow.
unbelievable.
Yeah. Okay. So amazing movie that I saw in this that I was in this quarantine is okay. A Waltz with Bashir, Waltz in Bashir, Waltz with
Yeah,
Bashir.
I've seen.
I don't know if
Good.
it's like this is a masterpiece in my opinion. It's where like the band feels it. It's incredible. And Good Time of the Safdie brothers who just made Uncut Gems. Sorry, Uncut Gems. If you saw it on theaters with Adam
No, I didn't
Sandler.
see it. No.
So Good Time with the Robert Pattinson, who is in. He's oh my God, he's so good. Also, I saw him. Yeah, I saw him also in a Lighthouse with William Defoe
Okay.
also a couple of months ago in theaters, and he's he's phenomenal. And Taxi
You're a
Driver.
movie fan. Like you love
Yeah, I
movies,
am.
huh?
Yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
geek. Yeah, yeah.
No,
So
I love movies. I love movies, but like I love that you love movies. Like you can just, you're not holding back. Like, oh, this is like you feel it how much you love it.
yeah, I can do. That's the way. That's the only way that I
Yeah.
can talk about.
0 or 100. There's no middle.
Yeah, I like. It's funny. It reminds me when I talked once with Bobby, who I mentioned before, and she said that she just moved from the States to Israel to dance in Batsheva, with Batsheva Dance Company. So the first time that she heard people, they can sit in restaurants and eat, I don't know, pasta and like take a bite and they're like, oh, it's so, wow, wow, like, so I feel it's very
Similar.
Israeli and it's very that what, yeah, and I feel yeah, and I feel about like what cinema is what, yeah, I feel like, and I'm talking about moving, like, I can't, I
Yeah.
can't be in this, I can't be, yeah.
It's good, man. We need more enthusiasm. I think at times.
It's
I
all
think a
about
lot of times
enthusiasm, it's
it
all
is.
about it.
It is.
As long as
It's
you're doing something
it makes life a little bit better, you know.
I think it's way better. Like as long as you're doing something from enthusiasm, the rest will happen. That's what I
Yeah.
yeah.
You're a smart young man.
Thank you. Thank you.
So do you have are there any future projects, something you're working on or something, you want to do?
So yes, there is. I don't know what I can or can't say.
Or how much you can say? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe just
So
like high level, high level.
what?
High level. Like just like, give us like I mean if you can, just like how you say in Hebrew baktana.
בקטנה.
which is it's just
yeah,
like
yeah,
a preview.
yeah. Uh, so like, a lot of, projects and plans and things kind of like change because of
Everything, yeah.
everything, especially now in the States, like a lot of things, like in the States, I think in Israel, everybody kind of like, I think it's like kind of like the beginning of the end of all of it. I hope.
I hope. I mean,
And
we'll see.
uh,
They're talking about a second wave, so let's hope it
oh,
doesn't happen.
yeah, absolutely. So and I think the States like kind of like, you know everything they kind of like theater, especially as we talked about it before. And so, yeah, so, things are changing, and, this acting, it's a weird profession, a weird job. You can think one day you can think that you're going to be booked till the end of next year, and then like, few phones, and then like you don't have a job for the next week. So 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 it's like, yeah, but that's, again, the curse and the blessing, because
Yeah,
the so many amazing things are coming out of this, weird profession and weird, situation, and weird behavior of this job. And also, the whole world now is kind of like going crazy. So things are kind of like, fake, kind of like,
yeah.
but yeah, don't know how what I can. I there's
It's okay. It's okay. If you can't say, you can't say. I mean,
I like
it's also you don't know. Like maybe something's booked for 3 months from now, but it could end up being booked for
yeah,
next year. So
yeah,
it's difficult.
yeah, and also for we say ain hara, the bad eye, like I don't to
Yeah,
open.
it's like you don't want to be. It's like a superstition where you don't. If you say
Yeah,
something will happen and then it doesn't happen. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
absolutely. Yeah,
I had a friend. His whole teenage years couldn't walk by a black cat. Like this
yeah,
guy was just so superstitious. Every time
true,
he's
true,
in
true.
our neighborhood, yeah, our neighborhood had so many black cats, like just cats roaming around, and some of them were black. So
Where are you
funny, man. Like,
from?
so funny. Originally, Ranana,
Ra'anan.
but I lived most of my 20s. I lived in Tel Aviv. I mean, I most of my life I moved around a lot. I grew up in Africa half my life, and then
Oh, wow.
a lot of moving around. So,
Where in
and then I've
Africa?
been here the last 8 years. Sorry.
Where in Africa?
So age 6, I moved to South Africa, and then age 10 moved back to Israel. Age 12, we moved to Ghana. Age
Wow.
14, back to Israel,
Wow.
and then at age 20, once I finished Army, 21, I went to Australia. I was there for about 6 months, 8 months, something like that, and then kind of traveled around after, and then back to Israel, and then South America for a few months as well after that. And then I think age 20, let's see, 26, 28 or 29, I moved to the US. So,
I miss traveling. You made me,
yeah.
I miss seeing the
Yeah.
world. Yeah. Oh, sounds
Yeah.
sounds incredible, man. Sounds amazing.
I was thinking about this the other day. I think I've been on every continent
Yeah.
except Antarctica. That's my
Wow.
next place. Yeah, hopefully.
Wow.
Honestly, if you ask me like bucket list countries, I would have to say like the top three I really want to go to. I took one off the bucket list this year, which was Japan. So that was also one that I really wanted to go.
Wow. My friends were there as
Yeah.
well. They said it was amazing.
Oh,
Like
amazing,
crazy.
amazing. Yeah, it was unbelievable. It was really fun. But Iceland would have to be number one for me. I've been wanting to go to Iceland for so many years. So hopefully, who knows? Again, right now, no one's traveling anywhere, but
Yeah.
maybe next year, if things start to
Yeah.
open up.
So for me, if we are
Yeah.
fun design, for me it will be um, Vietnam.
Vietnam, nice.
Yeah,
Have you been to Asia?
and no, never, no,
Never? Okay,
and Morocco.
nice. But are you
Morocco.
half? Because I know your dad's from Iraq,
From yeah,
right?
my dad is from Iraq. My mother she's Ashkenazi from
Okay,
Poland. Well, her
yeah.
father is from Poland. Her mother, so from her mother's side, I am the 13th generation in Israel. Two
Wow.
of the people who know, it's kind of a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
so, so yeah.
Because yeah, from my dad, my dad, his mother, from that side, I would be, let's see, one, two, three. If I'm not mistaken, either fifth or sixth, and that's considered a lot. So
Yeah,
13th is
yeah,
like unheard of.
yeah. Yeah, so I'm
Wow.
13th and also first, generation from my father.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. Quite the contrast. So Vietnam would be number one for you?
Vietnam and Morocco and maybe Zanzibar.
Nice. Yeah. Africa is very, it's definitely different, but it's very special in a lot of ways. It's so, I feel like if you're in a Western country and then there's some places you go on Earth and it's like, wow, this is. I don't want to say it's almost like going to Mars, but it's just so different, from what you're used
Yeah.
to, especially if you come from like a developed country. So, and I think those are like what make traveling interesting. Like you get to see different people, different culture, how people are living on the other side of the world, how they speak. I don't know. I feel like, the food, it's just everything makes it that much more interesting because you don't want to go to places and it's exactly the same. What's the point of traveling? You want to go to places that are completely different, right? And you want to get a new experience. So, yeah, I love traveling. I've been traveling since I was such a young kid. Like my dad always loved traveling and always took us. And yeah, so I got the bug early.
Yeah. Amazing. That's your bag.
Yeah, man. Yeah, well, it's one of my bugs. I have many bugs. Yeah, like many bugs. Like I think that's my problem. I have like, there's people who are very singular in their approach. They do one thing very, very well, and they're the best, even sometimes the best at it. But for me, like so many different things interest me, and I try to like put my time in this thing and then the other thing, and like try to put as much as I can. But a lot of times I just, I'll neglect one thing because I put too much time into the other thing. So it's just about trying to find that right I don't know, that right time division. So yeah, I don't want to take up too much of your time. We did an hour and a half, which felt like pretty quick for me. I mean, it felt like
Yeah.
flew, but I want to tell you thanks so much for coming on the
Thank
show.
you
Really
for having
appreciate
me.
it, man.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. Anytime, anytime. And I hope the quarantine ends sometime soon, so you can. I don't know if you want to go back to Israel, but I'm assuming you probably want to go sometime soon. So
Yeah.
I hope,
I will go back soon.
yeah, I hope the quarantine ends. And yeah, man, where can people find you on social media?
So yeah, on Instagram, I'm not like my on Facebook. I'm Adam Gabay. I'm not on Twitter, and I'm not super like I am on social media. I'm not super strong, so forgive me.
Yeah.
Adam Gabay. Oh my God, you know what? On Instagram,
Yeah.
I have Adam, and then I have another M, and then Gabay, because there are so many Adam Gabays. Like
Yeah.
my middle
Common
name.
name.
Yeah, my middle name is Moshe, like Moses. So I said like Adam, and then
Yeah.
and also like just double M. No, nobody can, nobody can notice. So it's just Adam M
I
Gabay.
didn't even notice. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
didn't, yeah. So
No,
no,
I didn't notice. Yeah.
yeah, me
Now I
neither.
will. Now. Cool, man. So yeah. Again, thanks so much for coming on, and we'll be in touch, and maybe we'll do this again in the future, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.